Uber's explosive growth and constant controversy make it one of the most fascinating companies to emerge over the past decade. The global ride-sharing application, founded in 2009, disrupted modern transportation as we know it, and at one point grew to become the highest-valued private startup company in the world. 10 years after its founding, Uber went public on May 9, 2019. Though the road has been bumpy, Uber remains a major company in the ride-sharing space. In its most recent quarterly earnings release, for Q2 2021, Uber reported a net income of $1.1 billion, $3.9 billion in revenue, and 1.5 billion trips on its platform. Uber history, Paris and rapid growth. Uber's story began in Paris in 2008. Two friends, Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp, were attending LeWeb, an annual tech conference The Economist describes as where revolutionaries gather to plot the future. In 2007, both men had sold startups they co-founded for large sums. Kalanick sold Red Swoosh to Akamai Technologies for $19 million, while Camp sold StumbleUpon to eBay for $75 million. The concept for Uber was born one winter night during the conference when the pair was unable to get a cab. Uber was founded on a single idea. What if you could request a ride from your phone? Initially, the idea was for a timeshare limo service that could be ordered via an app. After the conference, the entrepreneurs went their separate ways. However, when Camp returned to San Francisco, he continued to be fixated on the idea and bought the domain name ubercab.com. Ubercab, the beginning. In 2009, Camp was still CEO of StumbleUpon, but he began working on a prototype for Ubercab as a side project. By summer of that year, Camp had persuaded Kalanick to join as Ubercab's chief incubator. The service was tested in New York in early 2010 using only 3 cars, and the official launch took place in San Francisco in May. Ryan Graves, who was Uber's general manager and an important figure in the early stages of the company, became CEO of Uber in early 2010. In December 2010, Kalanick took over as CEO, while Graves took on the title of General Manager and Senior Vice President of Global Operations. The ease and simplicity of ordering a car fueled the app's rising popularity. With the tap of a button, a ride could be ordered, a GPS identified the location, and the cost was automatically charged to the card on the user account. The San Francisco-based startup quickly became one of the hottest companies and grew quickly. The first Uber ride was requested in 2010, and less than 2 years later, in 2011, Uber had already launched internationally in Paris, where the idea for it first took root. Uber's valuation, funding rounds. First 5 years, 2009 to 2013. After starting in 2009 and launching its first ride in 2010, the company received its first major funding, a $1.25 million round led by First Round Capital. 2011 was a crucial year for Uber's growth. Early in the year, the company raised an $11 million series of funding round led by Benchmark, and it went on to expand to New York, Seattle, Boston, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., as well as abroad in Paris. In December at the 2011 LeWeb conference, Kalanick announced that Uber raised $37 million in Series B funding from Menlo Ventures, Jeff Bezos, and Goldman Sachs. In 2012, the company broadened its offering by launching UberX, which provided a less expensive hybrid car as an alternative to black car service. Uber culture controversy. 2017 was a rough year for Uber. The troubles began in February when a former female Uber engineer outed the company for its sexist culture in a 3,000-word blog post. It was alleged that Uber's corporate culture was highly hostile, sexist, and quite offensive to most people. The post quickly went viral and a number of high-level employees were let go or resigned for reasons relating to the allegations in the following months. Following the blog post, the board called for an internal investigation, which became known as the Holder investigation. It was led by former Attorney General Eric Holder. The investigation resulted in 47 recommendations intended to improve the culture and work environment, and according to Uber, the firing of more than 20 staff members. In the following months, scandals seemed to haunt both the company and its CEO. Letters were released to the press which confirmed that sexist attitudes came from the top down, including from Kalanick himself. Kalanick was also caught on video arguing with an Uber driver about lowering fares, which did not strengthen his image in the public eye. On June 21, 2017, Kalanick resigned after a shareholder revolt. After a little more than 2 months, it was announced that Dara Khosrowshahi, then CEO of Expedia, would take over. Khosrowshahi came to New York in 1978 with his parents to escape the Iranian Revolution. He started his career in finance at an investment bank and eventually became the CFO of IAC/Interactive Corp, a position he held for 7 years before becoming the CEO of Expedia. As of September 3, 2021, Dara Khosrowshahi remains the CEO of Uber. Uber versus Lyft competition. Uber and Lyft are two of the most well-known ride-hailing companies in the world. Both companies offer similar services, allowing people to request rides through a smartphone app and connecting them with drivers who can take them to their destination. One of the main differences between Uber and Lyft is the size of their operations. Uber is a much larger company, with a presence in more than 10,000 cities in over 70 countries. In contrast, Lyft operates in about 695 cities in the United States and Canada. Another key difference is the business model. Uber is a fully fledged transportation company, offering a range of services including ride-hailing, food delivery, and electric bikes and scooters. In contrast, Lyft is focused primarily on ride-hailing, though it does offer some additional services such as bike and scooter rentals. In terms of market share, Uber has historically been the dominant player. However, Lyft has gained ground in recent years and now controls a significant portion of the ride-hailing market in the United States. The competition between Uber and Lyft has been intense, with both companies engaging in aggressive marketing campaigns and offering promotions to attract and retain customers. In addition, both companies have faced regulatory challenges and legal disputes over issues such as driver classification and safety. Despite the competition, both Uber and Lyft have had a significant impact on the transportation industry and have changed the way people think about getting around in cities. Uber is one of the most closely followed companies in the world, once going down in history as once the world's most valuable startup and disrupting the modern ride-sharing and transportation industry as we know it. Though the COVID-19 pandemic has thrown a wrench into Uber's plans to become profitable, marking large losses in its ride-hailing business, the company's strategic investments in its food delivery arm Uber Eats as well as its recent California Proposition 22 win bode well for the company. Perhaps soon, time will tell if Khosrowshahi can lift Uber's valuation to its originally projected $120 billion. Thank you for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed learning about Uber.com and that you now have a better understanding of the journey of Uber.com. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more great content.